So coming to this chapter 1, topic 1. So throughout the history, human has been trying to understand the arbitrary nature of wind as it created life and also can damage buildings, landscapes, can carry storms, dust, and even harsh chill winds. Even it can kill the people with its force. Recently, people of Bengal, Orissa, and even Mumbai has been affected by Amphan and Nisargo cyclones or yearly floods at Assam in India. So we all are aware of it, whether it is come as a blessings or as a danger. We are at the wind's mercy. So human need to study how and why the wind works the way it does. So it begins with the question atmosphere. The physical phenomena of the Earth's atmosphere are exceedingly or numerous and very having a very great importance. So in this lecture you will be learning about the atmosphere, which is the blanket of gases surrounded the other celestial body containing all the air that need to live on Earth. So the year 1951, according to Glukov, he said that the composition of the surface air at the sea level in proportion by volume are 78% nitrogen, 20.9% of oxygen, 0.934% of argon, 0.03% of carbon dioxide, and remaining neon, helium, and other gases. So it consists of the atmospheric layer consists of 5 main layers, and this 5 main layers in structure of the atmosphere depending on the temperature, and these layers are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and the exosphere. Among all, the troposphere is one of the most important atmospheric layer where we live in. So, but we will look into each and every layer one by one. First comes the troposphere. Troposphere, by the word it says, the tropos means change. It consists of the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere. This troposphere starts at the surface of the Earth and goes up to the height of 7 to 16 km approximately. So on average, it can also found that troposphere is having the thicker near the equator, which is about 16 km deep. And whereas as gradually it moves towards the pole, it gets thinner about 6 km deep towards the pole, and where the most type of clouds are formed in this particular sphere, and almost all the weathers occur in this layer, and the air is warmer at the bottom of the troposphere near the ground level, and air gets cooler as it gradually rise into the troposphere. So the temperature decreases at the rate of 1 degree Celsius for every 165 meter of height. That's why you might have noticed the peaks of all the mountains can be snow covered even during summertime. If you have visited Manali or even hill station, even you can see even during summertime the some part of the mountains are still covered with the snow. Even one more example, pressure and the density of the air also decreases as the pressure and the density of the air also decreases with increase in altitude. That's why the cabin of the jet aircrafts are always having a pressurized cabin. So troposphere, it is an important atmospheric layer. And why it is so important? why the troposphere is so important. Because the study of troposphere is very important because we breathe the air in this layer. This troposphere contains about 85% of the atmosphere's total mass. And in this tropospheric zone, there is a formation of clouds, rain, even greenhouse effects, which have a greater influence on this climatic change and also the meteorological things. This troposphere has a direct contact with the Earth's surface, and it is therefore very sensitive to the process occur at this level, like evaporation of oceans, photosynthesis in the plants, respiration of living creatures, human activities, everything. So this water cycle is also occur in this layer. This water cycle helps to form the clouds, which in a form that can help to produce rain, snow, or even freezing rain. As you can see, the troposphere is an important layer in the earth as it is the layer we live in and the layer which gives us all the weather. See, the main thing is the water vapor is a prime concern in this troposphere. And if you look, a very trace amount is found in the pole, and when you go to this tropical region, around 4% or even a slight more. Both this temperature and the water vapor contained in this layer will rapidly decrease with an increase in altitude. So this water vapor is also important. It helps to absorb the solar energy and the thermal radiation from the surface of the earth, and which helps to regulate the air temperature. So we can state that the troposphere is protective from the hard UV radiations. Because of this protection, many molecules are more stable in the troposphere than anywhere else in the atmosphere. This is the protective or this protection makes the life possible on the earth. Sometimes even in uneven heating of the earth by the sun, which helps to cause an convective current in this layer of the atmosphere, which is a large scale pattern of the winds, and that moves heat and moisture around the planet, and this create the wind around the globe, which in turns drive the area of high pressure and low pressure zone, which also leads to an turbulence. One has said that troposphere isn't turbulent, and that turbulence is partially connected to the thermal profile of the troposphere. That means the temperature decreases with altitude at an average of 6 degree per kilometer. So this phenomena is favors the first convection of air from the low layer to the high altitude in the troposphere. This convection goes hand in hand the formation of clouds, and so called it is an convective clouds, and therefore it is of utmost importance to understand the activities of human influence the troposphere and to balance the nature and the human life because of this troposphere. Now there is a tropopause which separates the troposphere and the stratosphere. Now stratosphere is a second layer of the atmosphere just found above the troposphere. Now strat means a layer. This layer it can extend up to 50 kilometers of height, and this layer is very dry as it contains a very little water vapor as compared with the troposphere. This layer provides an advantages for some flight because it is above the stormy weather region, and this layer has a very steady, very strong and horizontal wind. In this layer doesn't change much from day to day, but this is the height of a bottom of a stratosphere that may varies with the latitudes and also vary a slight with the seasons. Now what happens here, the temperature rise as it moves upwards through the stratosphere. This is exactly happens opposite behavior in the troposphere which we live in, and where the temperature drops with increasing the altitude, because there is a very little convection takes place or likely to be very stable. And one more thing, this is a layer where the ozone layer is found. Ozone layer helps to absorb the UAV rays and safeguard the earth. So just above this layer we have a stratopause which separates the stratosphere and the mesosphere. So the mesosphere is found just above the stratosphere, and it is the coldest of the atmospheric layer. And this mesosphere starts with 50 km above the earth's surface and goes up to around 85 km. What happens here is, as the temperature decreases with height throughout the mesosphere, the coldest temperature on the Earth's atmosphere is about minus 90 degrees centigrade, and the temperature drops to the altitude in this layer. By going as it approaches towards the 80 kilometer, it reaches to a minus 100 degree Celsius. So, hope you can understand how this the effect of the temperature and altitude varies in each and every layer of atmosphere. In this layer, what happens? Even scientists use instruments on sounding rockets to sample the mesosphere directly, but such flights are brief and infrequent. But since it is very difficult to measure of the mesosphere directly by the instruments, so much about the mesosphere is still mysterious to everyone. But one thing, in this zone the meteoroids and asteroids burn up in this layer. So the upper limit is called as a mesophause, and which separates the mesosphere and the thermosphere. So this layer is found just above the mesosphere from the 85 km to 650 km, and the temperature climbs sharply in the lower thermosphere, maybe below 200 to 300 km altitude. Then the level just directly goes steadily far high with increase in altitude above that height, because it happens because of solar activity strongly influence the temperature in this upper thermosphere. Even some kind of aura and satellites are also observed in this layer, and aura is a very primary occurrence in this thermosphere. And one more very amazing thing, the Kármán line. This Kármán line is an attempt to define a boundary between the Earth's atmosphere and the outer space. And this is the important for the legal and the regulatory measurements for the aircraft, and the spacecraft fall under different jurisdiction and are subjected to different tariffs. And this Kármán line lies between the lower thermosphere just above the 100 kilometers, and where air density is about 1 by 2.2 into 10 power 6 the density of the surface of the earth. So that's about the Kármán line. And when we consider the lower thermosphere is also known as the ionosphere. The ionosphere considered of the electrically charged particle known as ion. This layer defined by the layer of atmosphere of the earth which is ionized by the cosmic and the solar radiation. And this ionosphere is very thin, where the aura takes place, and it is also responsible for uh, absorbing the most energetic photons from the sun and helps to reflect the radio waves. There may be of long distance radio communication can be possible. International Space Station orbits the Earth within the middle of the thermosphere between 408 to 410 kilometers. Now coming to this, the outmost layer of the atmosphere, the exosphere, which is the uppermost region of the Earth's atmosphere as it gradually fades into the vacuum of the space. Even many satellites, including International Space Station, orbit within this exosphere or just below it. The zone where the molecules and the atom escape into the space, as it mentioned as exosphere, it extends from the top of the thermosphere up to the 10,000 kilometer. So this is all about all the five main layers of atmosphere, and sometimes it is also this additionally this layers can also mixed and charged as three compositions. One is a homosphere where the 78% of nitrogen and 21 of oxygen, and b its second one is a poorly mixed heterosphere where this composition does 78% nitrogen and 21% of oxygen slightly changes in volume, and the third category is the electrically charged ionosphere which just goes just above this mesosphere where it is this air is no longer it's completely ionized, where the air particles are completely ionized to measure the atmospheric parameters. And here comes a few assessment tasks for your self assessment that you can try. Explain how the Earth's atmosphere is analyzed from an industrial aerodynamics point of view, and second one is the how the study of atmosphere plays a very important role in industry's point of view. So here are a few other reference books which you can also refer for your personal updates, and here I also would like to suggest you some of the MOOC courses for this particular course where you can gain more knowledge from this particular MOOC course. And till then, take care, stay safe.